Hey there, welcome back to the Temple of the Holy Beard. I'm Pastor Dave. Great to have you here with us again today. This video is another entry from the Encyclopedia of Misused and Misunderstood Words. Buy local. What does buy local mean to you? Let me know in the comments section. I'm sure you've heard it used. I'm sure you've heard it used in different contexts for different meanings. And it could have slightly different definitions depending on the term. And I'm going to tell you a variety of them. And again, buy local could be used a little bit differently depending on what's going on, but it's usually in basically the same context. So let's get started. So buy local. Let's start with the you should know what buy means. I mean, to purchase, to pay for something. Local refers to basically your neighborhood, your town. It could be your county. It's basically places that are near you. You don't necessarily need to know the people who own it or work there. It's just something that is owned and operated by people who live close by to you. Your neighbors, essentially. Now, sometimes you will have local small businesses where the business is in your area, but the owners and the operators may not actually live there. That's okay. That's okay. Local is essentially like where it is at. And we prefer it being people who live nearby, so essentially if someone were to set up a business 5 minutes from their house, 10 minutes from their house, at their house, whatever. But local refers to close by where you live. You could also use local to mean people that are native to that area or who've lived in that area for many years. But I digress. Anyway, when we say buy local, we're referring to making purchases from a business or a supplier or a builder that lives or operates near you. Again, the owner may not actually live in a neighborhood, but we are not referring to large businesses like Wally World or your major grocery store chains. Those are not those are not local businesses. Now, there is such a thing as a local grocery chain, for example. There may be a person or a group of people who own a business that has numerous locations in your area. That would still be considered local, based on the location of that business and the location of the owners. Essentially, if you can drive there in a short period of time, it would be considered local. But moving on. So yeah, sometimes it's referred to, a business that's near you, but maybe it's a major corporation, a national or international corporation. That McDonald's store, for example, might be owned by someone in the neighborhood. Those are, I'm drawing a blank on the term, but the McDonald's corporation doesn't necessarily own that location, so it could be locally owned. However, when you shop in a business of that type, the local owner doesn't completely benefit from it. The local employees, the employees that live locally, don't completely benefit from that sale. A large portion of it goes to this national conglomerate that's out of the area. So, in that aspect, a local food store, food restaurant, would be something where it might only have a couple of locations. Again, it might be regional, it might be in your county. Depending on how big your county is, it might span a couple of counties, but the owners are grew up close by. But throughout my videos, I talk over and over about buying local, especially if things get bad, when things get bad. These national supply chains will likely experience more disruptions than your local resources will. And so it is beneficial to you to know where you can get the resources that you need within a reasonable drive. And if they are owned and operated by people who live in your area, they're going to care more about your area. When you buy from a local small business, all of the money that you spend there goes back into your community. It goes to put food on those people's table. And it goes to them hiring somebody else in the neighborhood. It helps out the local people. And like I said, when there's a supply chain disruption, whether it's a storm or a major power outage or whatever, if the resources that they need in order to be able to provide to you, if those resources are local, then that supply chain is local and that disruption is minimal to them. So for example, in the case of a major storm that went through, yes, the roads may be impassable, but as soon as the roads are clear, then person number one can still bring his stuff and sell it to the store. You understand what I'm saying? So local is your community, your people that live nearby you, and purchasing from them keeps the money circulating within your community. It's essentially the same as giving your kid a job. Even though you aren't actually giving your kid a job, but you are giving one of your neighbor's kids a job. You are helping your neighbor to put their kids through soccer. You're helping them to put food on the table. You're also likely to purchase better quality, because if it's built local, it's all supply chain, people in your neighborhood. Somebody built that table to sell it to that store so that store could sell it to you, or you bought it straight from the person who built it. In some cases, if you're in an area that does it, you might actually be able to, you might be close enough to where the person logged the tree in the area and then sold it to somebody who processed it and turned it into a table. And then, maybe you bought it from the person who made the table, or you bought it from the store that bought it from the person who made it. But the whole supply chain from step one to the last step, first step to last step, is all within your town, neighborhood, county, close by. Which, if you compare that to people who, buy something and have it shipped across country, that's taking a lot of gas. It is employing a lot of people, because you've got warehouse workers and whatever else. But the larger businesses put a lot more money in their own bank accounts that, in a lot of cases, just don't come back out. In the case of Wally World, I heard the number a couple years ago that something like $50,000 an hour goes into their bank accounts and will never come out, because they just don't spend that much money. That's never going to happen with a local business, because they rely on the money that you spend in their shop. And what you spend to them, they spend in the community. And it eventually comes back around to benefiting you anyway. So, you benefit from the product, you benefit from the end of the circle when it comes back around. Anyway, try to keep this short. Buy local is about purchasing items that are sold in your area, nearby you, that are made in that area. Maybe it's a farmer who grew that in your area, and either you're buying from that person's farm store, or they sold it to a local store that you purchased it from. But buying local is about keeping your supply chain local. And like I said, in a major incident, those local supply chains are what's going to help you the most. Because these national and international, like we're seeing right now, we've been seeing for the last couple of years, international shipments are not in good shape right now. And even national shipments are struggling. So by buying local, your supply chain's not nearly as disrupted. So I hope this makes sense to you. Hope you have comments, questions, concerns, something to add. If I missed something, or if you think you can explain it better, put it in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and show your support by hitting that thumbs up, like button. And stay tuned for future videos. We got a lot more coming. So again, I'm Pastor Dave from Temple of the Holy Beard, And stay safe, stay sane, keep learning. Thanks for watching.